Yeah, there's over 300
Yeah,
plays.
300 plays, but they're not all in this volume.
Not all in one volume. Yeah.
Because
There's 12 in this book.
we have to explain the whole weekend universe and how a lot of the plays and books are intertwined. The characters are intertwined. So today was the first release of it, and it's available on Amazon. He didn't even know it until he walked in. I showed him that it was available. He's just beaming and very happy. Um, if you go to Amazon and you type in Frederick Wiegand, he has over 2 full pages of books on Amazon, and I just think it's incredible. It's amazing to be able to create and to publish and have it in the earth. You know, I think this is amazing. So we celebrate with you, my friend, and congratulations on that. Yeah. And before we dive into the message and questions about the message, did anyone? Yes, sir.
I would like to announce that when I wake up in the morning,
Uh huh.
I would have slept with an older woman because somebody have a birthday
Today,
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Oh. I was like, where is he going with this? Yeah. Well, happy birthday. We're going to have to sing happy birthday before the night's over. We're going to sing happy birthday. Yeah. Wow. No, but not the way he delivered it. That was. I'm like, where he going? He just slept with her. Yeah. Okay, I was about to. Oh, did anyone? Gerald Mindy, right? Gerald Mindy is our representative. Did anybody see him today? Oh, he went toe to toe with Cash Patel today. Yes, first time I ever seen him do anything like that. He went toe to toe with Cash Patel today. It was amazing to watch. Because I didn't know that he was that passionate about much anything, but yeah, but he and so kudos for him just to be able to speak up like that because he's been our representative forever. Yeah, yeah, and so now he's done some other things before, but for him to nationally and internationally be seen doing something like that, I was like, oh wow, that's our representative there, giving it a go. I was pleased about that, and I prefaced that with saying that this summer again we will be going through the booklet. Some of you already got your was it like the pre-voting booklet, but we're going to go through that. We're going to go through each of the candidates, not for this, but when we get closer to November, and some of the initiatives and propositions. We're going to do that like we did before to just kind of look at them and look at the pros and the cons, study them so that when you make a choice and a vote, is you as informed as you can be. Okay. So we're going to be doing that again this summer, taking our time in the Bible study periodically to go through those. So I look forward to that. I really do look forward to that. The draft is starting. I don't know if you know. Yeah, I think it's 18 or over. Yeah, 18. Huh? To 42. Wait, well, well, Is that why so many people are enlisting? Because I know a lot of people that are enlisting before the right. They're enlisting because I think if you enlist, you move up before the ones that are drafted, right? Yeah, you outrank the ones that are drafted. So okay. It starts in another month or two, I think. This fall.
Well,
Yeah, I know it was a couple of months.
well, what if I have bone spurs in both feet?
Don't encourage. Don't encourage that. Yeah. So we want to be praying for our, and is it men and women or just men for the draft? So we want to be praying for our young men. Man, many of them that'll be going in. A lot of them will not even have graduated high school or even gotten a diploma that will be drafted in. So we need to pray for them. This is a season that this generation hasn't had to experience. Yeah, and it's going to take them a little while. There's going to be a lot of dodgers. It always was, but at least, after years and years of it, you knew, okay, when I turned 18, or when I turned 17, I got to register or whatever for the draft. So it wasn't a second thought, but now. The borders are closed. Yeah. It's so I would imagine that when that starts, we'll begin to see some social upheaval, and federal, troops coming to a home near you to do that. And so we would definitely need to be in prayer for those families and. Even the parents of these 17, 18 years old have not had to experience the draft. I think it stopped when I turned 17, a long time ago. No, it stopped in 1974. Huh? They may have passed it in 73, but those that would turn 18 in 74 did not have to go. December? Register.
They reinstated the draft in 1980.
Hmm?
They reinstated the draft in 1980 because I had to register in 1980 for the draft.
I missed that.
While I was on my,
I said, I missed that one.
I was in Maine that summer, and while I was in Maine, it came through that I had to go register for the draft.
They reinstated the draft
They
in
reinstated the
1980?
draft, yes,
For 1
in
year?
1980. I don't know how long it was reinstated for, but it was put back right at that time, and I was one of the ones that had to register for it.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
I think it was Carter. I think it was under Carter. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
and it was in the same region that they're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were Iran Contra that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so those are some prayer points, definitely, that we need to consider as far as current events. Everything seems to be moving at a snail's pace, at a crude oil pace, to pun some things. But, it seems like things have been put on a pause for a little while so everybody can breathe and exhale. and think rationally about making decisions to continue with war. So hopefully they'll be able to renegotiate. It doesn't seem possible, but we're praying. And how many of you know what your name means? First, you know,
Well, my first name is initials,
Yeah.
and my dad's name was initials. Yeah, so I am a LC Junior, which it didn't stand for anything. And he had a brother whose name was JC. No, I'm sorry, TC, and he had initials only.
we gonna circle back around to that. Because yeah, my curiosity. You know, I'm when my curiosity takes me beyond the surface sometimes. But now, Henry, Frederick, Chris, which one do you know? Which one?
Okay. Well, my names mean home ruler
Home ruler,
and ruler
ruler. Oh yeah.
and warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Okay.
My last name Wiegand means warrior.
And your first name means
Means king. Means home ruler.
home
Basically ruler. Or yeah. So kind of like a King David type, I guess. King
Yeah.
and warrior.
Home ruler warrior. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's yeah. Okay. Miss Cheryl, yeah. Might as well go through. Who? Or darling. Cheryl means. Don't do that ever again. The darling or beloved Cheryl. Okay. April, since you're back there. Freshness, vitality, and beauty. Okay. No, I'm going to the back table and I'm going to make my way up to the front. Okay. It means what? A warrior? Uh-huh. Okay, but Leonard. Warrior. Okay. Okay. And here we already got one part of yours, right?
Okay.
What does it mean?
I'm about about the fifth Henry on my father's side of the family,
Okay.
and about the third or the fourth on my mother's side of the family. My name used to be named Knockout or Killer, and then when I got my eyes swole, I gave that title up, and I missed church that Sunday.
So your name means the same as his, because both of y'all are Henrys. So I should have just skipped over you, because I already knew what your name meant, because he told us. All right, Miss Lee has a very unique name. Honor, strength, and victory. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Be a little comedy team. One straight man and the comedy. Okay, moving right along. And that's why I'm doing this, yes.
So Ramona is a feminine name of Spanish and Old German origin, meaning wise protector or wise defender. Feminine form of Raymond, derived from German counsel, advice, protector, and guardian.
Did it say it's the feminine form of Raymond?
It's the feminine form of Raymond.
Really?
I knew that.
Okay. What about protector?
Wise protector.
Wise
and
protector.
defender.
Wise protector and wise defender. Wow. Okay. I, and that's the next part of this that I'm getting to. Mind, most people know part of the definition for David means beloved or beloved. But the whole definition means beloved of God or beloved uncle, which I didn't know. So I called all my nieces. You know, my name means beloved uncle, you know, to let them know. Now, the other part I wanted to get to was, now that you know what your name means, can you relate it to your personality or what you know about yourself? LC, we coming back around there because I think those initials stand for something.
Well, actually, the initials they are LC. However, my last name Naylor means a maker of nails.
No.
Yeah. It's I guess Irish,
Mm-hmm.
but it means like nailer,
Uh-huh.
maker of nails, and I think maybe that has something to do with my volunteer work because I do volunteer with Habitat,
Right.
and hammering nails and screws and,
Right.
and all of that stuff. But I did work at a airlines, and we didn't actually have nails, but we had screws and we had hammers and everything else.
Yeah, yeah.
But the LC is strictly LC.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they didn't get it from a great nobody.
No, because my grandfather's name was John Wesley Naylor. Huh? You know him?
Noel?
John Wesley Naylor.
Oh. My daughter married a John.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, he was Wesley. Yeah.
Yeah, that was close. That was close. Wow, John Wesley.
And he was basically like a jack of all trade, but
Mhm.
a master of none.
Yeah,
So he has some outside skills.
Well, you know the whole sentence of that, right? A jack of all trades and a master of none is far, far better than a master of one. Mm. Yeah, most people don't quote that part.
I know the master of none, but not the end there.
Yeah, because I've been called that many times. I had to look it up. So now when you look at your name and the characteristics of the definitions, and you see some of the characteristics in your personality, or you may look at some of your experiences in life and how that might relate to your name. It almost makes you think that you weren't named haphazardly. That even though whoever named you, how could they know beforehand the personality that you were going to have? I mean, of course, you're going to get some of their personality because every gene is a direct derivative of its two progenitors. So you either were going to act like your mom or act like your dad or act like some combination of both of them. That's just nature. So then there could be some anticipation of naming you based upon someone, your dad or granddad or mom or grandmom's personality, in hope that maybe you would take on some of those attributes of one or many of them. But when you look at yourself and your name, and some of the experiences that you have, I just want everyone to do sort of just more of a introspection of their name and how they behave in relation to the definition of your name. Moving forward in life. Yeah. Sure, what was yours? And who, me? I don't think they want to know if she was named after a tugboat. Well, beloved you are, darling you are. And there are some that would not accept anything different. Right. They do. You ever seen a tugboat? Right. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And then we have a bunch of warriors and protectors, and when you think about it, championing a cause or fighting for someone else other than yourself, standing up for them, fighting for many. So I know he jokes a lot, but my friend here fought for many. Life on the line. And because that was part of his character. It was in there before the name went on. The quality went in before the name went on. And so this Sunday, as Chris was teaching, I'll leave it alone. On what's in the name, because I don't know if many of you did we go through that here about Chris's name? We did. Yeah, and to wear that name like he does. And did you ever look at what that meant, Christopher? What it means?
Well, the way I've always taken it is belonging to Christ.
Okay.
That's why I've taken it for me.
Okay. There you go. And for him to dive into this Sunday and what's in the name, there's a lot in the name. Any questions about Sunday before we kind of dive into a little bit more of it? Any questions? Anything that stood out that you heard? How many of you, when you read the Bible and you see this long list of so-and-so begat so-and-so, he had 2 brothers, they begat so-and-so, he had 5 sons and 8 daughters, and they begat so-and-so and so. How many of you really read into that? How many read that? Just kind of skip over that. I know you do. I know. Does anybody, does that intrigue you? Okay. Right, because somewhere along the line, those names that are mentioned in those long lists, those personalities have made an impact on the story. Many times you can go back in the Bible and go, oh, that's so-and-so's boy. And the reason why why I said that is because if you just go back as far as Jacob's sons, well, his name was changed to Israel, but the Bible still continued to call him Jacob. But if you go back and you look at his sons, he had 12 sons and one daughter. She was spoiled. Ooh, she was spoiled. But he had 12 sons. And because one of my classes in seminary, we had to study these 12 sons. And we had to study their personalities and why each one had a banner, and their banner represented their personality. So that when the 12 tribes of Israel, which were all the descendants of the 12 different sons, each tribe had their own banner, which symbolized their personality. There was one son who was just skilled at fighting. And it was told that all of the men that were sons and descendants of this person were left-handed, and they were left-handed fighters. Does anybody know who that was? It was the youngest son. His name was Benjamin. And all of Benjamin's sons, as Midrash says, were left-handed fighters. Not only that, but they learned to fight. If you're going to go to war, you want Benjamin to come and help, because they like, fight where? Let's go. And so when the kingdom of Israel decided that they wanted a king, they picked a person from the tribe of Benjamin, because they wanted a king that was going to be strong and could fight and had money. And even though they knew already that prophecy had said that the kingship would come out of Judah. And so if you look at the history, there was always this thing going on between the king Saul, and those that were of the tribe of Judah, because he knew what the promise was. And he would have them read it, and they would all read it and tell him that, guess what, Benjamin, you're not going to remain on the throne. Your son. And he knew that Judah was going to be on the throne forever. That's important. And then to know what their names mean. Most of you know Judah means praise. So Judah means praise. And he was not the oldest son. He was the fourth oldest. There were 3 that were older than he. Anybody know who they are? Reuben was the firstborn. Who? No, he was later. I know what you're talking about. Naphtali. He was younger. It was Reuben. No, it was short. I like it, y'all. Yeah, go ahead and study. Go ahead, turn in pages. I love to hear the sound of the pages of the Bible whistling. That's exciting to me. I love it. Go ahead, I'll give you guys just a couple more minutes. Reuben, Simeon. Simeon and Levi. And and then Judah was the fourth oldest. Okay. Now, there is, if you look it up, you can see what the names mean. When they were born, their moms gave them those names. Really, the birthright is always supposed to pass down to the eldest. But as you can see in the Bible, that very rarely happened. Very rarely happened. Even Jacob tricked his brother out of the birthright because he wanted some soup, and he got tricked out of the birthright. Why? Can anyone tell me, if you've read this or you've gone through, why was Judah chosen to be the lineage of the king, to rule? Because it is from Judah that we get Judah, or the Jews were named Judea, Jews. Why was it Judah? Why was the fourth son? Why not the second, or even the third? Why did they all get passed over? It's a quick little Bible study, this Bible story. Does anybody know why? Okay, because there's a story that their sister, the one and only sister, fell in love with this prince. And the brothers wasn't too happy about it. So they made up this story that he had abducted her. But it really wasn't. She loved him. But they didn't want to see her with him because he was not, kosher. So the three older brothers went to this prince and said, okay, you can wed, my dad said, you can wed our sister, but you all have to, as we are, be circumcised. Everybody, every man in your family has to be circumcised. So, of course, out of love, which I don't know, but anyway, they circumcised all of the men. And while they were healing, these three brothers came back and killed them all. And Jacob said, because you did that, you will not lead this family. And that's why it fell on Judah. And funny story about the daughter, the one and only daughter of Jacob. Does anybody know what her name was? No, that was David's daughter. Dinah. Let that sink in just for a minute. Dinah also was a derogatory name used for female African slaves. They called them Dinahs. Yeah. Because the slave traders knew that the slaves that they had gotten from the slave trade were descendants, Hebrew descendants. And they called the female slaves derogatory. They called them Dinahs. Dinah. Yeah. And yeah, some say Dinah, but it's called Dinah. Well, because there was a song that they used to sing in the South. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Mm-hmm. Because Dinah was the house slave. And that's what they used to call them, Dinahs. And we made a song about Dinahs. Just a little bit of African American history in April. In April. I know that messed you up, didn't it? Yeah, do your research. Do your research. Yeah, so at the time of slavery? No. But however, it was an issue because of her, number one, being the only daughter, and the tale. So who would want to marry? Nobody wanted to marry her. They were scared. You got 12 brothers. No, thank you. You want to marry Dinah? No. I'm good.
Now wasn't Dinah taken advantage of by this other person?
That was the story,
That was the story?
but it wasn't completely true.
Oh, okay.
She loved him. That was the story that they told their dad when they went back, and the brothers, which would give them a reason to want to go back and kill him. They were just like their dad, tricksters, because that was his. That's what Jacob meant.
In Genesis 34:2, it says that the leader, the Shechem, the leader of the Hivites, grabbed her and raped her.
Yeah, that's.
It doesn't say that was the story. It just says that's what happened.
Yeah, read another work.
Okay.
Yeah. Read Josephus. Josephus, the Jewish historian,
Uh-huh.
and it's a little bit of different twist on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that's why you gotta study. That's why you have to dig. Because some stories are told to shine a light on something different. You know what I mean? If I told a story and I told it to Ramona, and I told the story to her, and I said, okay, I want you to tell this, and I want you to tell the same story to Miss Lee, and then I want Miss Lee to tell it to Henry, and I want Miss Henry to tell it to you. By the time he got to you, it wouldn't be the same story that I told. It just wouldn't. It'll be a twist on it from the storyteller. They've been through some things in, took some things out, you know, and so so when you read the Bible as the infallible Word of God, which it is, you have to read it with the intention of discovering the lesson. What is it that this story is teaching me? Because no matter what story you tell, the lesson should be the same. Even if there's some deviation. You know, her name was this, his name was that. This is not what happened. But the lesson should still end up as the through line. In these cases, when you're reading the Bible, especially Old Testament scripture, you have to ask yourself, why am I reading this? Why am I reading this story about these 12 sons and their folly? They tried to kill their younger brother, Joseph, because he had his dad gave him a good-looking jacket. They wanted to kill him because he had a dream that they was going to be serving him. They threw him in a pit and left him for dead. His own brothers. Now, who told that story? Because surely the ones who did it didn't tell it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell that I threw my brother in the pit to die. So maybe Joseph told it. Maybe. You know, but we don't know. But we have the story. And the story really is about forgiveness. Once Joseph went through all that he went through, as a result of somebody else putting him in a situation that he didn't ask to be in. And he went through some hard times, but God raised him up to literally be as powerful as Pharaoh. So that when the time came, he was able to rescue all his brothers and all their family, almost 1 million of them. But he could have not. He could have said, no, y'all go over there. You tried to kill me. Y'all suffer. Y'all let the famine kill y'all. But no, he was like, no, I'm going to bring my brothers in, and we're going to put them in Goshen. And we're going to watch God move in Goshen. All these stories are related now to a bigger meaning. And a lot of the names that we read are key players in these stories. And when we read what their name means, it gives us a view of their personalities and why they're in the stories the way they are. Yes, sir. Chris, you was going to say something? Oh, I thought you. Okay. So that's kind of the story of these 12 brothers. We revisit it again when they came into the promised land, because Moses had to divide up the promised land so that each one of these brothers and their families would have land. All in the areas that they're fighting over now, that we see today, that land was divided by these different 12 families based upon their personalities. A couple of the brothers' families decided not to go into the promised land because they didn't want to fight, because they knew they were going to have to fight the inhabitants of the land. So they decided, yeah, y'all go ahead. We'll hang out here. We not fighters. Y'all go get Benjamin and them and let us know when you're done, and then we'll come on over. Isn't that what they said? Y'all go get my brother that's crazy and all his sons, and y'all go fight them. let us know when you're done, and then we'll come on over and we'll get the land that's promised to us. Because some of y'all know y'all got some people in your family that you can count on. They will come to the rescue and get it done. And they knew that. And that's important, especially today, because of the way that land was divided. And their claims now in Israel to the land. There are people, we talked about that, I think this a couple of weeks ago, that claim to be Jews or Hebrews, and they won't give them any claim to the land because they say they aren't direct descendants or whatever their reasoning is for, except for some of the inhabitants of Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia said, we are descendants of Judah. And when Ethiopia was going through a famine, and they asked the United Nations to help them, and the United Nations failed to help them, the Ethiopian government says, well, then we want to invoke our claim, our heritage to the land that's there in Israel. Israel was like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. What y'all need? Let's get them what they need. Cause can you imagine all the Ethiopians going over? That'd have been a revelation. That'd have been a revelation. And see, that happened so undercover and covert that many people don't even know that the Ethiopian government staked their claim to the land in Israel. And Israel had to say, no, y'all just going to stay where you at. What you need, we'll help you. And that was not too long ago. Maybe 10 years ago when that famine was there. So when you look at our current events and you look at the Bible, it's relatable. Those stories are relatable to today. They have some significance in what we experiencing now. Even the war in Iran, even the war in Lebanon, in Syria, those areas were inhabited by some of the descendants of Jacob. And through war and all those things, or disobedience, God allowed them to be scattered. And now, many of the Jews have to live up to their name of being descendants of Judah. Praise. And yeah, I better not say much more to that. I don't want them come knocking on my door. What did you say? No. No, thank you. Boy, they'll get you. They'll get you. They're going to send Benjamin after me. So now, when you look at your name, because I like how Chris laid out in his notes, first talking about the begats, then talking about Abram, how God would change the nature of a person and then change their name to match the nature that he changed them to. How many of you know that when you accepted Christ, you got a new name? Did you know you got a new name? You got a new name. Now, what it is, I can't tell you. But you got it because your nature changed. He's the only one that can change who you are. And when he changed your nature, he changed your name. Now, the name Onoma, which also means to etch or to make a mark. So he changed you so that you can make a mark. Chris, I just talked about the mark that you're making. 2 pages of books. It's got your name on it. You're making a mark in this world. When he changes your nature and he changes your name, what he did was he changed your mark. Because some of us left a mark that we're not too proud of before we met Christ. So now he changed our mark. We got a new mark now to leave because he changed our nature. And we see time and time again when he changed Abram to Abraham, he changed Sarai to Sarah. He changed Jacob to Israel. All of those that he changed their name and changed their nature because he needed to change their mark. Okay. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And Belshazzar. Belshazzar was Daniel. And I forget the names. We went through it one time that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, what their names were, their Hebrew names too. and their Babylonian names were, trying to change their nature. You have it?
Hananiah,
Hmm.
Mishael, and Azariah.
Hananiah
Mishael and Azariah.
and Azariah. And so I'm sure they had meaning.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And so the enemy will try to take and change your name, your mark, for something negative, and thereby changing your name. And it's really strange because many people do that. Hence, we have nicknames, and we go by the nicknames because now our personality or our nature, we want to relate them to the nickname. Like Bubba. Don't meet Bubba. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what they call him, Bubba, right? For a reason too. Was he a brother? Did he have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, he has 4 brothers and 3 sisters.
Was he the oldest or?
He was the second to the youngest,
Okay, so
youngest boy.
oh, okay, and then they call him Bubba.
He was always in trouble, and yeah, he was the one.
He was that one, huh? Yeah, see, we have him. We have what, huh? Right, because of the nickname, right? Yeah, we had that issue because I'm the 4th. I'm David Earl Cobb, the 4th. My son is David Earl Cobb, the 5th. So my dad's nickname was David Jr. because he was the 3rd. My nickname was just plain old Junior. I hated that. And my son's nickname is DJ. So when he had his son, he's like, Dad, there's no more nicknames to go around. We're gonna name him Isaiah. And we'll give him a middle name, David. Well, that was something else, but we I didn't like that too much. Because he happened to be born the day before my dad's birthday. Yeah, and I was like, you could have named him David. And what was y'all going to call him? What nickname was you going to give him? It's no more nicknames. And so I call him Isaiah. I call him Buddy Pal. My buddy pal.
I was going to say, you did have one name left, Dave.
Oh, no. None of us like that. All the way to the first. I mean, I get called that a lot, but I prefer not. But okay, a lot of people call me Dave. I wear Dave like Chris wears Chris. It's like, okay, if you must. But I'd rather call him Rick. I would rather call him Rick. But it would mess y'all up if I always called him, hey, Rick. Y'all be like, who is Rick? So I call him Chris, like y'all do. Mm-mm. Frederick. And that's why they call him Rick. And I thought it was interesting that he would be the one to preach about names when he's got like, right, he's got like 6 of them.
That was the whole point.
That was the whole. I figured.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
there was a method to your madness there. Yeah.
Of course.
How many of you know that? And I'm gonna let you go. In the Catholic Church tradition, when you are christened, you get a name. You get another name. No, it's when you Christian. When you christened, you get your Christian name, and then when you are confirmed, you agree to your name. Because see, confirmation is when you get old enough to confirm you getting christened as a baby. Because a baby can't make a decision really for Christ. You did? You did when you were confirmed? Okay, so I can see that. And many times when you are christened, the priest will announce your Christian name and relate that to a saint. And then when you become, was it 12? 12, then you have to do confirmation to confirm what they already said you were as a baby. And you go through confirmation, and you have to know what the name was they gave you when you were Christian. And I like picking my own saint, you know. Yeah. Barbara, Saint Barbara, and see, wait a minute. She said an ammunition. I want you to be clear what she said. Okay? Right, yeah. Isn't that interesting though? You think about when you just looked up the meaning of your name today. It's like you said, no coincidences. It's relatable to your personality, and I think the sooner you lock into your name, the quicker you find your purpose in life. I really believe that. As soon as you lock into what my name means, you really find your purpose, or your calling, or one of your assignments in this earth, and it helps you navigate through. You know. Any questions, Chris?
Well, I was during the teacher strike. I was I became sort of the poster child for the strike because my name, my picture was on the front page of the Daily Republic, the second day of the strike, and from that point on, everybody in town knew that I was one of the angry teachers that was protesting, that was on strike, and it was so. I mean, there's the warrior part.
Oh, the warrior. Oh,
yeah.
All right, Henry the Warrior.
Yeah, that was it.
I will go through these notes because the one that really stuck out with me, and I couldn't really deal with it tonight, was the rebranding. I mean, we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when your nature is changed, then you're rebranded, I guess you could say. You know, that way. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
And becoming part of another family.
Yeah. And like you said, rebranding. It's amazing that we've been rebranded. Any other questions about Sunday? Any other questions about your name? I would dive deeper, you know, into it. Look at your name's origin in different cultures, because some of your names were English, some of them were different translations or a different culture, and see what your name means in all those cultures, and see if it's consistent across the board. Because while my name is David, in Hebrew it's Dawid. There's no hard v sound. It's Dawid, and then in Spanish it's David. And all of that, when I researched that, they all have similar meanings to relate to my personality. And And so I looked it up, and I was like, oh man, my name means this in German. My name means that in French, and it's interesting little study to relate it to your personality. Yeah. Oh, he had a completely whole different name. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Oh, you gotta wait. Okay. Go ahead. It's on. It's on.
Yeah, so so it was three names that my I guess you could say stepson he suggested, and it was King, Kingston, and Chrome. And Chrome was I was gonna name him Chrome just because it was different, but then I was like that's a little too different. And then he had a condition that was they thought he might have Crohn's disease. It was crazy.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, it was just it's very ironic that how your name like this is very very intriguing and interesting what we're talking about because it makes me think of deep. It makes me want to go deep into my name more than what I know.
It'd be interested to, see what the meaning is.
And when I'm fighting, I get called a whole lot of names.
Okay, see, so guess what? You get the prayers out. You get the prayers out. I was about to say something deep, but never mind. So, before you pray us out, the name chrome comes from chromium. And chromium is a metal that is resistant to erosion and corrosion and tarnish.
Okay, dear Lord, thank you for tonight and all of the information that I learned this afternoon. Please bless everyone that's here and those that are not here. Bless them also. Yeah, and our help those that need to be helped, and maybe give everybody their wishes in your name. Thank you. Amen.